The rehab is taking forever. Not cool. Have you had this thought before? If you're flipping houses, I guarantee you have, because I've never met a rehabber that didn't have this thought of, why is this taking so long? Okay. And I'm going to tell you the answer in a heartbeat. It just wasn't scheduled properly. That's really the bottom line. Now, we can get into 1,000 things, and we'll talk about 2 or 3 in this video. But the core issue is there wasn't a good schedule up front. And schedules is probably one of the most underrated things in construction. Think about it. Think about a time where you maybe drove by a open field somewhere. Okay, and if you're in any suburban market in the country, you've had this experience. I'm going to tell you, there's an open field, and 6 months later, maybe a year later, there's an apartment complex up, or maybe it's a multifamily thing or something. And you're like, that came up. It's almost like it popped up out of nowhere, right? And you're just like, oh my gosh, right? And you see all these little suburban developments and urban developments, and it's like changing skylines and this and that, and it comes up quick. Why? Because schedules. Think about Chick-fil-A. Think about McDonald's. They don't spend 3 years building a restaurant. They have that stuff up, and it seems like a few days, and it's there, right? And then a month later, you're buying food there. It's like, oh my gosh. It's because they've got schedule to a science. Commercial real estate schedule is like everything, and it's a science. I mean, they got it down. Okay. Residential real estate, if you go to the big builders, they're pretty good about it too, right? You've seen it. Big, 100 home neighborhoods appear seemingly overnight. Okay. But yet, the little guy, the average real estate investor who's not building 100 of anything or remodeling 100 of anything, it's slow, it drags out. It's like, man, in the time it takes to remodel one house, people put up an entire neighborhood. This does not make logical sense. It actually does. It's because the schedule doesn't get the same weight when you're remodeling. Think about it. Have you done a course that talks about rehabbing houses? There's a chance you have if you're watching this. Go back to that course and see how much time they spend talking about schedule. I'm going to bet it's like this much. Okay. They're going to say, well, talk to your GC. And so what do? We leave it to the GC. Here's the problem. Most GCs are not trained in how to be hyper efficient, and so they just kind of do things alone, and they just have whatever resources they have. And you, as the investor, are the beneficiary of their inefficiency that you do not get a discount from. Now, don't get me wrong, a great GC who works quick, they're worth their premium. But remember the 80-20 rule, 80% of them are not going to be in that category, probably more like 90, but that's another story, another video. You want people that understand efficiency, 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 and it starts with having a good schedule. And not only do they have trades for that schedule, they've got 1, 2, 3 backups for all of those. So that when trade person A doesn't show up because their van broke down, no problem. I'll bring in person B. Oh, B is busy. No problem. Go to C. Oh, C's okay. We had to go to person D or E for this one. Okay. That's going to be a prepared contractor 9 times out of 10. Okay. They've got backup for the backup for the backup for the backup because they are so married to schedule that it allows them to keep that project moving. I once had a GC tell me, Frank, I feel like this is going so slow that I feel like I don't know that I'm making minimum wage. And I literally said to him, I said, well, you're in charge of the schedule. Like, why are you telling me? Like, I'm ready for you to be done yesterday. And, and he's complaining to me. And I'm like, what is going on over here? So people will tell you anything to avoid being held accountable to getting things done quick. Okay. And the problem is it then creates a domino effect of other problems for you as the investor. Then it creates problems for the market because now they're seeing this thing sitting there. It creates problem for lenders if you have lenders. It creates problem for your realtor because your realtor's thinking they're going to sell something, but now they're like, is it going to get done? And it's just a myriad of issues that start from just an inefficient schedule. Okay. And it could be also caseload. Like if you have too many projects, and I've met people that have done this many times, and it's happened to me where you have too many projects. Now there's not even enough brain power to make sure everybody's being efficient. Okay. And then you become part of the problem, right? So it's, and at the end of the day, if you're the investor, you're always part of the problem. Okay. That just the buck stops with you, right? So getting people that understand how to be hyper efficient with scheduling and they treat it almost like a religion, that's a big plus if you can find those people. And you're not going to find it with most GCs. I'm just telling you, they're not. Most of them are not that on top of it. So you're going to have to work to find those contractors. Once you get the schedule done, now you combine that with a good scope of work, which is the second reason why things sometimes drag on. Ambiguity in the scope of work. Think about it. You've got a super efficient contractor and you're giving them ambiguity. Like if they're really good, they're going to call you out is what they're going to do. They're going to be like, I can't work with this. And they're basically going to nicely tell you this sucks. Okay. Not because you suck, but because you gave them something that was ambiguous, and their process demands certainty. Their process demands being precise, understanding what it is you actually want. They don't want to make things up on the go. Go back to the Chick-fil-A, McDonald's. When was the last time you walked into one of those restaurants and it was radically different than the next one? Not very often. Most of them are very similar. Yeah, there's little tweaks from one to the other in location, but generally speaking, they're all pretty much the same, right? Just like their menus are the same. Predictability, predictability. Your GC wants the same. They want predictability, and an excellent scope of work allows them to do that, which allows them to work faster so they can get paid faster, so you can be done faster, so you can get paid faster. See how the domino effect runs? Okay. So when you've got a great schedule mixed with a great scope of work, things can flow through and they can flow very smoothly. Now, if you're going to play GC because maybe it's a smaller project or you're feeling incredibly compelled to take on a big project, let me tell you, it is a ton of work. It's a lot more than you probably think it is if you've never done it before. And even if you've done it before, it's so easy to forget how hard we actually really worked. Okay. You got to be on it, on it, on it. Okay. And that's how we can keep projects moving along. Okay. Solid scope, solid schedule, backups, multiple layers deep. Oh, and by the way, not just backup contractors, backup materials, right? Hey, I want to get this stove for, oh, well, guess what? That one's not available because everyone had a sale or it went out of, you thought you were going to buy it, but they didn't need it for 3 months. And now all of a sudden they need it. Oh, well, they don't make that one anymore. Well, you better have some backups. So having backup materials is important, especially with stuff that's not off the shelf like a stove, but rather maybe you're dealing with some framing materials. Maybe you've got some specialized tile you're picking. Okay, the more specialized it is, the more you need backups in case it's not available when the time comes and you actually need it. Okay, so efficiency plus redundancy. Efficiency plus redundancy plus detail equals projects that move along quickly. And ultimately, it comes back to what I've shared in other videos, preparation. The more prepared you are, mixed with the right people, things are going to move along a lot better, a lot quicker, and you'll be much happier with the result. Even though you paid that GC more than you wanted to, you're going to be much happier with the result, and the domino effect of people behind the project will be much happier as well. So, hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. I will see you around.